welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is your favorite show, Daily Calls, a show that answers all your stock-related queries on this very program. In case you're here for the first time, the WhatsApp number is flashing on your screen. Send me your questions here along with your name, location and your contact details as well. We'll be happy to address all your queries about the stocks in your portfolio or the fresh ones that are coming onto your watch list as well. You can also log on to our YouTube channel, that's Business Today. Go on to Daily Calls Live. Use the comment section there to send me your questions. And I can happily take some of those questions also with our guests. Let me welcome our guest on board. We have Mr. Nilesh Jain, Vice President, Head of Technicals and Derivatives Research at Centrum Finverse Limited, joining in on this program with us. Also, the markets are in a happy mood. You can see 25,838, about 144 points higher in trade. So cheering what has happened over the weekend. So what's happened? The US-India trade deal contours have been finalized and the updates were shared by Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal. And right after that, we are seeing enthusiasm come back onto the D Street right after some volatility that we had seen over the last 1 week as well. A lot of you are joining in, so let me quickly welcome our viewers as well. We have Mohit Yadav joining in, Vinita Gupta, Rishikesh, Guru, Sai Varma, Aarti Jain, all of you are joining in. So welcome to everybody who's joining in on our YouTube live. Nilesh is with us. Warm welcome to you, Nilesh. Good to have you with us. Good afternoon as well. Help us understand, how are you looking at the markets, the fresh sentiment booster that we've got from this US-India trade deal and the announcements over the weekend that have come in. Where is your concentrated focus after this announcement?
Very good afternoon to you, Sakshi. Absolutely. So in fact, today, if you see, we opened with a gap up note. And interestingly, the positive part is that the market is sustaining above the gap up openings. Multiple positive triggers today. First of all, Nifty reclaimed its 50-day moving average. And it has taken support at exactly its 50 DMA, that is placed at 25,870 levels. And from those levels, we are witnessing some bit of rebound as well in an intraday trade. So looking at the setup, the overall setup looks positive. We are expecting a move towards 26,000 on immediate basis. A break above 26,000 will confirm the positive sentiment and the setup. Then probably we can expect a move towards 26,200 as well on the back of short covering. So it's a buy and decline kind of structure for the Nifty. And the major structure looks positive. We are expecting a move towards 26,200 from a near-term perspective. Similarly, Bank Nifty, in fact, comparatively looking more stronger. We have seen the numbers from the State Bank of India, robust set of numbers. And today we have seen a big gap of opening in the Bank Nifty as well. So overall, we are expecting a move towards 61,200, 61,700 in the near term. And buy and decline should be the strategy in the Bank Nifty as well.
Okay, that's as far as the markets are concerned, viewers. Let's start taking some of your questions. Nilesh, we have the first question from Mohit Yadav from our YouTube viewers list. Mohit says, I have 1 lakh rupees. मुझे 1 लाख का इन्वेस्टमेंट करना है और मैंने अभी ओसवाल पंप्स में इन्वेस्टमेंट करने का सोचा है. क्या 2 साल के लिए ये शेयर अच्छा रहेगा मेरे लिए?
From a longer term perspective, we may see a gradual up move in Oswal pumps, but the short term structure, if you see, the counter has corrected sharply all the way from 850, 880 kind of levels on the upside, and it is in a constant declining trend. We are not witnessing any sort of a trend reversal as of now, but yes, there could be possibility that we may see some bit of a pullback move, but it is important to see whether it's sustainable, 400 or 450 kind of levels on the upside. So as of now, not convinced with this setup, but given the kind of time horizon of 2 year plus, yes, one can, accumulate this counter, but keep a very tight stop loss at 340. If it breaks below 340, then we may see further slide towards 300 as well. So it is important to see the further development. Since I have very limited data, the counter got listed last year, June on NSE. So with this limited data, it's very difficult to comment for a longer term time frame, but yes, short to medium term structure sideways to be.
Okay. Next we have Vinita Gupta asking you, says, hi Sakshi, good afternoon to you as well, Vinita. She wants to ask you, Nilesh, buying levels for 2 stocks for the near term. One is Bharat Forge. The second one she's already bought, Wellspun Living at 142. What is the near term outlook on this one and any fresh entry levels for Bharat Forge?
Welspun Living, Bharat Forge, both the stocks are looking strong on the chart. Specifically, Bharat Forge, where we have seen a very strong momentum. Counter is forming a high top and high bottom formation. Recently, we did see a gap up opening in the previous week, and it is sustaining well above that particular breakaway gap. It is trading above all long-term, short-term moving averages. So, given this kind of a setup, we may see the levels of 1700, 1800 from a short to medium term perspective, and quite possible that it may inch towards 2000 as well. That's again a positional target for this particular stock. So one can keep a stop loss below 1480, and stay put is the advice in the Bharat Forge in terms of making a fresh longs. I would suggest to wait for a dip towards 1500 to 1520. That can be a good entry point. Coming to Welspun Living, looks like it has formed a short term bottom, and a break above 160 will confirm the short-term bottom formation. So a breakout is needed above 160. Then probably we can expect a move towards 180 to 200 as well. So yes, stay put is the advice in the Welspun Living as well. We expect short-term momentum to continue.
Okay, got that. Let's get another view. This one is from Rishikesh, who wants to know about Tata Steel. For next 1 year, would you advise an entry into Tata Steel?
Well, in terms of a fresh entry, I would suggest to buy in a staggered manner, because we have already seen a very good run up in the metal space. Across all the metal stocks have witnessed a good momentum in last few months. So Tata Steel looks like it is heading towards 240, 250 from a 1 year perspective. We can expect a 20 to 30% upside. It is trading at all-time high, so it's advisable to wait for some meaningful decline to make a fresh longs. And if already bought, then keep a stop loss at 190. And positionally, we expect a move towards 220, 240, and the setup looks strong.
Okay. Sai Verma has the next question for you. This one is on BL. At the current price for 1 year, does it make sense for a fresh entry?
BL again, right. So BL again, we have seen a very good run up in last few months. So for next 1 year, again, buying on dip should be the advice, or wait for some bit of correction. Then probably one can go long. But buying multiple tranches, yes, it's a very good bet for next 1 year. We can expect a move towards 500, 540 kind of levels on the upside. So setup looks positive positionally, but better approach should be to buy in multiple tranche.
Okay, got that. Let me also take another question. This one is from Aarti Jain, and she wants to know from you, Nilesh, on BHEL. She has the stock in her portfolio at the price of 300 and says that I can hold it for another 2 months. Would it be as advisable to continue holding on it?
Well, we have already seen a correction towards 240, 245 recently, and from those levels we are witnessing a strong rebound. So given this kind of rebound that we are witnessing, it's quite possible that we may see the levels of 300 plus in next 1 to 2 months. So stay put in this particular stock. Keep a stop loss below 255. The setup from a short-term perspective looks positive.
Okay. Next we have this question from Avdish Thakur, and who wants to know from you on Dalmia Bharat Sugar. Any fresh entry from medium to long-term perspective that you would want to advise here?
Well, Dalmia Bharat Sugar, which is currently trading at 301 rupees, after a recent correction, the stock seems to be forming a short-term base formation. So from a short-term perspective, there could be possibility of a pullback move, because the major structure still looks sideways to weak. But since it has gone into extremely oversold territory, there could be possibility of a strong pullback towards 325 to 350 on the upside. So one can, keep a stop loss at 280 and remain long for a pullback move towards 320 to 345.
Okay. Next we have this question from Srini, and Srini says, what should I do with the railways? Should I sell or hold? I have stocks like IRFC, RVNL, IRCON in my portfolio. If not, then what alternative stocks should I be looking at?
Well, railway theme, we did see some bit of momentum before budget, but since there was no announcement, specifically for the railways, no major announcement was seen. So we are witnessing a profit taking, but the overall the space as a whole is not looking that attractive. unless and until we see some bit of order book increasing in this particular railway theme. So as of now, it's an avoid, better exit on pullbacks. This particular space is likely to remain sideways for near term at least. So one can shift towards the momentum space, that is metals, PSU banks, NBFC space, and even private sector banking space. So these are the sectors that are looking positive. Even one can look for consumption space where we are witnessing a short-term bottom formation. So these are the pockets where one should shift focus to, and better to exit from the railways at least in the near term.
Okay, fair point. Exit from the railways, look at alternatives there. That's the suggestion. Let me also look at another question from our WhatsApp we are getting. This is Jinal Shah from Ahmedabad. Jinal says, hi, good afternoon. I'm a great fan of Business Today television show, Daily Calls. Thank you so much, dear Jinal, for writing in such warm words for our show and for our channel. We wish you all the best. And of course, we will help you out with taking your question from Nilesh and an advice there as well. The question you've sent is on Metropolis Healthcare. For the next 1 to 2 years, especially regarding the bonus announcement of 3:1, how should she be really looking at the stock, and is there an opportunity here for her?
We have seen some bit of a consolidation in Metropolis because this particular space remained sideways in last few months. But given the time frame of 2 year plus, I think yes, it's a good bet to add in the portfolio. In terms of making a fresh longs, the good entry point could be in the range of 1900 to 1800. That can be a good entry range for the long positions, and one can keep a stop loss below 1650. Positionally, immediate basis from next 6 to 8 months perspective, we may see the levels of 2300, 2400, but yes, positionally it has a potential to test the levels of 3000 as well. So yes, this particular counter can be added in the portfolio for a longer term 2 year plus kind of time frame.
Okay, let's take the next question. This one is from one of our viewers, Mohit from Ludhiana, who wants to know about Container Corporation of India. He already has about 200 stocks at 512 level. The time horizon is 3 years. Would you advise buying it, continuing to hold on it?
Looks like bought it recently because counter is trading near about those levels at 515 right now. The good part is that after correction, the stock has found a very strong support. I would say a multi-month support at 470, 480. So first of all, keep a stop loss at 470. If it breaks below 470, then the next target on the lower side could be 440 to 430. So keep an eye on that important support. On the upside, if it breaks above 550, that will give first level of confirmation of a short-term bottom. Then upside will again open up for 600 to 650. But yes, from a 1 year perspective, one can remain long in this particular counter.
Okay. Next, we have this question from one of our other viewers on our WhatsApp again. This one is from Umesh from Delhi. Says, good afternoon, Sakshi. Good afternoon to you as well, Umesh. He wants to talk about Dynamatic Tech. And he wants to ask you whether it's a good time to enter for the next 1 to 2 years, or at what level would you advise entry into this stock?
See, right now it is trading at the elevated level, and after a spurt of close to 10% today, it's certainly not advisable to chase the momentum because the risk and reward is not looking favorable. But yes, given the kind of a setup we are witnessing, it's in a very strong uptrend, looks very strong on the chart, and can deliver up to 30 to 40% kind of upside in next 1 to 2 year kind of time frame. So the ideal entry range could be somewhere around 80, 800, 80, 600, or better strategy would be to buy in multiple tranches because the momentum looks strong, counter is trading well above all long-term and short-term moving averages. So keep a stop loss at 7800 and buy and decline should be the strategy.
Okay, got that. Let's take the next one. This one is from Govind Bhatia from Dubai. He says, good afternoon to you, Sakshi and Nilesh sir. This is a very nice and useful show. I want to ask about NHPC. I'm holding at 90 levels. What should I do?
Bought it at a very high price, but given the kind of a setup we are witnessing in last 1 year, The counter has consolidated in a broader range of 96 to 72 on the upside. So it is currently trading exactly somewhere in between that particular range. So first of all, keep a very tight stop loss at 73. And if it breaks above 83, then we'll get a confirmation of a bullish trend reversal. Then probably can expect towards 85 to 90. But as of now, one can stay put, keep a stop loss at 73. Important level to watch out for on the upside would be 83, and then probably 90 to 95 kind of levels can be seen.
Okay. Next we have Dolly Pandey asking, hi Sakshi, hi Dolly, how are you? On Avanti feeds, she has a position at 920. 920 पर लिया है, इसका टारगेट और स्टॉप लॉस आपसे जानना चाह रहे हैं। और एक और शेयर भी इन्होंने लिखा है इन्फो बीन्स के ऊपर, यहाँ पर भी आपसे टारगेट और स्टॉप लॉस जानना चाह रही है। अवंती फीड्स हम सब जानते हैं कि एक्सपोर्ट ओरिएंटेड मरीन स्टॉक है और उसकी वजह से आज 6% ऊपर भी है। यूएस इंडिया ट्रेड डील का सीधा तौर पर इम्पैक्ट दिख रहा है। 920 पर इन्होंने खरीदा है तो प्रॉफिट में तो है। नीलेश जी, क्या सजेस्ट करेंगे?
See, first of all, a very good stock in term of momentum, because यहाँ पर multi-year breakout हमने देखा था 2017, then it again retested in the year 2025. Now 2026 we have seen a breakout, so kind of a 7-8 year consolidation breakout. So the momentum is likely to continue further on the upside, और ऊपरी सरों पर 1200, 1400 और 1500 तक के भी लेवल यहाँ पर देखने को मिल सकते हैं, बिकॉज एक काफी बड़ा कंसोलिडेशन का ब्रेकआउट है। सो यहाँ पर बने रहें, 900 का स्टिक स्टॉप लॉस, ट्रेलिंग स्टॉप लॉस यहाँ पे मेंटेन करें। मेरे ख्याल से यहाँ पर 1200 से 1400 नियर टर्म में, और पोजिशनली 1500 के ऊपर तक के भी लेवल यहाँ पर देखने को मिल सकते हैं। कमिंग टू इन्फो बीन, देखिए यहाँ पर इनफैक्ट कंपेटिवली थोड़ा सा कंसोलिडेशन है, ऑन द वर्ज ऑफ अ ब्रेकआउट है, बट उसके लिए इंतजार करना होगा। 930 के ऊपर अगर ये निकलता है तब सेटअप यहाँ पर पॉजिटिव हो जाएगा। उसके बाद 1040, 1100 तक की भी अपसाइड ओपन होती हुई नजर आएगी। बट फिलहाल के लिए अगर खरीदारी ऑलरेडी की हुई है, देन 770 का स्टॉप लॉस लगाएं।
नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है हमारे पास अनुपम मंडल का। ये वेस्ट बंगाल से हैं और आपसे AWL एग्री के बारे में जानना चाह रहे हैं। 65 शेयर्स ऑलरेडी ये होल्ड करते हैं 230 के भाव पर, अब यहाँ से आउटलुक जानना चाह रहे हैं।
Well, Sakshi, you are talking about AWL?
AWL Agri, that's right. Currently trading at 209.8% lower.
See, this stock has been a complete disaster, because if you pull up last 3-4 year chart, after listing we did see a strong move, but it got fizzled out at somewhere around 850. So 850 से constant decline है स्टॉक के अंदर, कंटिन्यूस सेलिंग, एक्सट्रीम सीलिंग ऑन पुलबैक्स हमें देखने को मिल रही है। अभी भी ऐसा लग रहा है कि नीचे और भी जगह है। काउंटर कैन फर्दर स्लिप टुवर्ड्स 200, 190 from a short-term perspective. Positionally 180, 170 kind of levels can also be seen. But since it is trading in extremely oversold territory, एक पुलबैक की संभावनाएं बन सकती है, बट सेल ऑन राइज स्ट्रक्चर है। पुलबैक पर आप यहाँ पर एग्जिट के मौके ढूंढने चाहिए, क्योंकि कोई बड़ी अपसाइड इमीडिएट बेसिस पर देखने को नहीं मिली है। जब तक 270 के ऊपर नहीं निकलता है तब तक स्ट्रक्चर सेल ऑन राइज बना रहेगा।
ठीक है, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन हमारे पास आया है व्हाट्सएप पर भी, और साथ ही हमारे पास यूट्यूब के जरिए भी जुड़ रहे हैं हमारे व्यूअर। भीषेक नाम है इनका, और ये गोदावरी बायो के ऊपर जानना चाह रहे हैं। लिख रहे हैं कि इनका काफ़ी बड़ा इन्वेस्टमेंट है इसमें, कैसे आप देखते हैं इस शेयर को? गोदावरी बायो साइंसेस
304 पर फिलहाल ट्रेड कर रहा है, राइट? 304 गोदावरी।
I think it should be around 250 odd levels. One second, just let me quickly check. Godavari Biosciences. Let me just tell you. Bio refineries, in fact, 303 पर ट्रेड कर रहा है आज, 8% ऊपर है ये शेयर।
Right, exactly. So 303 पर ट्रेड कर रहा है, it's up close to 9%. काउंटर में मोमेंटम तो है, it has given a good breakout as well, but we need to see whether it sustains at a high level. और एक और इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज जो है, ये काउंटर अमूमन सर्किट्स में भी ट्रेड करता था पास्ट में, अपर्स एंड लोअर सर्किट्स वी हैव सीन। सो इफ यू हैव ऑलरेडी बॉट इनटू this particular stock, then I would suggest to keep booking profit at the high level, because usually we have seen in the past these spurts are followed by profit taking. सो प्रॉफिट टेकिंग नियर अबाउट 330 340 तक आता है तो आप कर ले. If you want to make a fresh investment, then it's an avoid. The risk and reward is not favorable. Do not initiate any fresh entry at current level. And if already bought, then keep a stop loss at 285.
Okay, there could be on the higher levels profit booking that can be seen, so be careful with that. No fresh entry advised after this spurt at this point in time. Saktani says, I need a view on Sterlite Technologies. A fresh buy for trading perspective is what I want. Can I buy at the current price or will there be a pullback? I have a 1 week to 1 month kind of a view. So it's an absolute trading bet that he wants to take here. Stock is up by 6 odd %. How will you advise?
Sterlite Technology right now it is trading at 140 rupees. We have seen a very strong momentum in last 7-8 consecutive sessions. So structure wise looks strong. And it has also given a very good breakout at 140 level. So today, if it closes above 140, it will confirm the breakout, and the target then upside will open up for 155 to 160 from a very short-term perspective. So first of all, keep a tight stop loss in this particular counter at 134, and immediate target would be 150 to 155. Position target could be somewhere around 165 to 170.
Okay. Let's take the next question. This one is from Muthailu James. He's from Hyderabad. Says, good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon to you as well, Muthailu. How are you? He wants to enter afresh into GRSE, Garden Reach Shipbuilders, and wants to know that at which level to take an entry in every 6 months. I have a long-term vision on this one. What would you advise?
See, from a longer term perspective, any dip can be used as a buying opportunity. But as far as levels are concerned, very important level that is placed at 2200, because multiple time we have seen the stock has witnessed a strong rebound from 2200. So that can be, first level of entry that can be done at 2200. If it breaks below that, then the second level on the lower side would be somewhere around 2000 to 1990. So overall, the positionally 1 year, 2 year kind of time frame, the setup looks positive, can be added in multiple tranches and can be bought in a staggered manner.
Okay. Let's take the next question. This one is from a caller who's with us live on the program, Lavish from Indore. Hi, Lavish. How are you?
Yeah, hi, Sakshi. I'm
Hi,
fine. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for asking. What's your question, Lavish?
Yeah, I have query regarding SW Solar share. I have 500 shares of SW Solar at the rate of 200. So please tell me what's view for 1 year.
1 year view is what you need on SW Solar. Bought at 200 levels, 500 quantity. How would you look at this renewable energy stock right now, Nilesh ji?
See, within a renewable energy space, SW Solar is still an underperformer. The counter is constantly moving in a lower top and lower bottom trajectory. Right now, looking at the overall setup in the near term, we believe that the stock is likely to remain sideways to negative. It is important that it should break above 220, then probably we can expect a rebound. Then the target from a near term perspective could be open up for 300 plus. But as of now, since bought it near about current market price, so keep a very tight stop loss at 185. And pullback seems likely because the counter has gone into extremely oversold territory. If you see any pullback towards 220, 230, then I would suggest to review it again. And if it breaks above 250, then we'll get a confirmation of a short-term bottom.
Okay, got that. I hope this has answered your question well. We have the next question from Avnish. He says, hello sir, इरिडा 186 पर लिया हुआ है, क्या करें? अभी 146 पर लगातार ट्रेड कर रहा है और पिछली बार गया था, इसके बाद निकल नहीं पा रहा है ऊपर. मैं मुजफ्फरपुर बिहार से हूँ और मैं काफ़ी समय से इस स्टॉक में फंसा हुआ हूँ. 129 पर अभी चल रहा है, आपने 186 पर लिया है और काफ़ी लंबे अरसे से हमने एक अंडर परफॉर्मेंस देखी है इरिडा में. क्या कोई उम्मीद है? रेन्यूएबल एनर्जी स्टॉक से हमने बात करी तो ये रेन्यूएबल एनर्जी की फंडिंग ज़्यादातर करते हैं प्राइवेट कंपनियों की. यहाँ पर कुछ उम्मीद लग रही है. QIP भी आई थिंक खुला है और उसके चलते फोकस में भी है ये शेयर. इसकी डिटेल्स भी मैं आपके साथ शेयर करती हूँ. 2994 करोड़ के QIP को आई थिंक मंजूरी मिली है और इस वजह से ये शेयर फोकस में भी है, आज 0.7% ऊपर है। QIP के जरिए फंड रेज कंपनी कर रही है, मंजूरी मिल चुकी है बोर्ड से।
Well, Sakshi, the structure is still looking on a weaker side, and given the kind of a setup, if you see, even if you pull up last 2-year chart, you can clearly see since 2024 काउंटर में करेक्शन लगातार हमें देखने को मिल रहा है, पुल बैक पर सेलिंग आ रही है. सो आई डोंट सी एनी वी शेप काइंड ऑफ रिकवरी. In fact, it may remain, sideways for some more time. Exit on pullback should be the strategy. यहाँ पर कोई भी pullback अगर 145, 150 के आसपास का मिलता है, बेहतर होगा कि आप इस पर्टिकुलर स्पेस में से एक बार एग्जिट कर जाएं. Because overall broader structure भी इतना promising नजर नहीं आ रहा है. Unless and until if somebody has a view of 2-year plus, then only remain invested. Otherwise, from a near-term perspective, I think exit on pullback should be the strategy.
Okay, got that. Taking the next question then, we have Kaushik Rana from Gujarat. Needs a view on Reliance Industries, has 40 shares at 1401. Long-term view, fundamental and technical both.
Technically, fundamentally, Reliance has been, kind of a very strong portfolio bet. In fact, with the recent momentum that we have seen in this counter, it looks attractive on technical front as well from a short-term momentum perspective. So short-term target on technical front looks like 1520 to 1580, and with a stop loss below 1400, one can go long at current level as well. Positionally, I think the stock has a potential to test 1700 to 1800 levels as well on the upside. So 1350 is a very strong support, a kind of a double bottom support can be seen on the weekly chart. So keeping that as a stop loss, yes, the counter looks good to add in the portfolio.
Okay, let's take the next one. This one is from Ajay from Bengaluru. He needs a view on United Breweries and he wants to know from you, as per his own study, he says the charts show accumulation at lower level. So what would you advise on United Breweries as of now?
Well, absolutely. In fact, if you see, the stock is at multi-year support level, near about those levels, I would say, which is placed at 1370 to 1400 zone. And right now we are witnessing some bit of a pullback move, but given the kind of a broader structure which is still looking on a weaker side, so it is important that the counter should surpass 1650 level to negate the formation of a lower top and low bottom. But as of now, yes, pullback seems likely on the card towards 1580 to 1650. So that pullback can be played keeping a stop loss below 1450. From a short to medium term perspective, yes, pullback can be played, but for a positional view, I think you should wait for a break of a 1650.
Okay. Nilesh, we have one more question for you which we can squeeze in. This is Tanmay from Ahmedabad. Says, good afternoon ma'am, good afternoon Nilesh sir. I have a question on Arvind Limited. I need a mid-term 3 months to 6 months view, and I want to know, sir, will it break 400 levels? When will it happen? If yes, then what happens after that?
Well, very good afternoon to him as well. And looking at the Arvind structure, it is up close to 5.5% today. The setup looks positive for multiple reasons. We have seen a breakaway gap. We have seen counter trading above all long-term and short-term moving averages. And it is also on the verge of another breakout that is placed at 400. So yes, very soon we'll see that breakout coming in, and stock is likely to move towards a fresh record high from here. So from a next 3 to 5 months kind of time frame, I think the stock has a potential to test 450 to 500 and stay put in this particular counter, keep a trailing stop loss at 350. On the upside, I believe the stock may test 450 to 480 kind of levels.
Okay, got that. I hope that's also answered there. All right. Let's thank you then, Nilesh, for being with us on the program and for helping all our viewers out there with all your queries answered, and of course an insight on the markets as well. We touched upon 25,850, went about that, and we're seeing some profit taking at those levels. But do you see, Nilesh, us climbing back above 26,000 anytime soon now?
Well, absolutely. As mentioned during the market commentaries, overall the setup has already turned positive. We have seen a fresh buy crossover on MACD. We have seen the call writers started covering their short positions. The RSI started moving from the oversold territory of 30 to currently it has crossed 40 mark as well on the upside. So given this kind of a setup, looks like the immediate target of 26,000 is can be seen very soon, but it is important that it should break above 26,000 to attract any further bit of a short covering rally towards 26,200. But yes, I'm very bullish and confident on the market. A buy and decline should be the strategy. One should keep a stop loss below 25,600, and 26,200 is something that we can expect in the February series.
Fair point. Thank you so much, Nilesh. All the very best to you. See you soon. Another edition on Business Today very soon. Thank you so much for your time. Viewers, we'll get into the second segment. Also welcome another guest on the program. Osho Krishnan, Senior Research Analyst, Technicals and Derivatives at Angel One, is now joining in. Hi Osho, warm welcome. Good afternoon to you. Well, over the weekend, we've got the clarity that we were seeking on the US-India trade deal finally. There are a lot of sectors and stocks that are buzzing as a reaction to that as well. How are you looking at the markets right now post this deal announcement and the contours of the deal too? And what do you think is in the offing? What would your strategy be?
Very good afternoon, Sakshi. Firstly, thank you for inviting me on the show. Well, yes, no doubt the sentiments were already quite bullish, but after this weekend, there has been even added up bullish quotient in the market. So I'm expecting that from here onwards, the market can see a very decent rally on the higher end. For Nifty 50 specifically, 25,850 again remains a kind of a technical hurdle, and any closer above 25,850 can provide some kind of sustained bullish traction in the coming week or the coming trading sessions. So I'm expecting that in a coming period, a gradual movement towards 25,850 followed by 26,000 can be seen in the market. But at these parameters or scenario, one can look for thematic movers. For example, there are many counters which are looking positive based on macro developments and even on the technical setups. For example, metals are already looking very positive. Those are into strong momentum. So metals should be playing a very strong, continue their momentum in the coming period. And even after that, I am expecting that the financials and banking sector can see some kind of a strong momentum in the coming period. So one should focus on thematic movers rather than focusing more onto Nifty or Bank Nifty indices as of now.
Okay, fair point. Let's start taking some questions that are coming in, Osho, and of course we will be taking your top choice of stocks also in a bit. We have the first question coming in from one of our viewers on our YouTube. Ajay wants to know about Chambal Fertilizers. How do you view the stock amidst promoter buying?
Well, Chamba Fertilizer overall has been into a strong consolidation zone, although on the technical front it is still hovering below the short-term moving average. So I'm expecting that until it breaches the 50 or 21-day exponential moving average on a sustained manner, till that time better to stay sidelines. But for those who already hold position in Chambal Fertilizer, better to stay invested because the counter have already seen a decent correction and is into a decent consolidation zone as well. So 415, 410 is a very strong support levels. On the higher end, 450 is the major hurdle. Once it surpasses the zone of 450, then we can see some kind of a strong traction coming back and pushing the counter towards 480 to 500 kind of a zone.
Fair point. Taking the view from Mayank, okay, the question is coming in from Mayank, says, hi Sakshi, I want a view on DLF. I'm holding 4 lots of DLF at 669. What's your view, Osho?
Overall, the counter has been gaining some traction, but looking at the volumes, there has been no strong volumes with the rally that is being seen in the counter, and already the position is into futures. Then it will be advisable to follow a strict stop loss of nearly 645 on spot level, so approximately 650 on the future levels, I guess. So I am expecting that from here onwards, once the counter surpasses the zone of 680, then we can see some kind of a strong traction in the coming period. But as we already have 2 to 3 weeks in February month, one should stay invested. 645 should be the final stop loss in the future contracts.
Okay, got that. I hope this has answered your question. Next, we'll take Neha Jain's question. Says, hi Sakshi, good afternoon. Is it the right price to enter into Bell Rise? Can you please suggest any levels to add this stock into my portfolio?
Well, this counter has already been into a very strong terrain. There has been a formation of higher highs, higher lows from the time after the time of listing in this space. But I'm expecting that once it breaches the zone of 187, 188, which is the previous high, then from there onwards we can see continuation on the higher end. So at present levels, one should wait for a decisive breakthrough above 187. And if it happens, then stay invested, or one can start accumulating for a higher target of nearly 195 to 200 on a very short term point of view. And overall, the technical structure is positive. So the biasness remains on the positive side.
Okay. Right. Let's take the next question then. We have Govind asking you the next question on NHPC, bought at 90 odd levels. Should I hold or exit? He is a long-term investor.
NHPC, one should stay invested in the counter. The counter is already into a very strong consolidation, and in the recent 2 weeks, the counter have even seen a decent traction from strong support levels of 75, 74 odd levels. So I'm expecting in the coming period, the counter has potential to retest the zone of 84 to 85. So if it happens, that will be a breakout zone. So one should trail their profit if it breaches the zone of 84 towards the zone of 90 from short-term perspective.
Okay. Next, we have this question from Raju Tiwari. Says, very good show. The other question is on Vimta Labs. At the present level, would you advise this stock?
Vimta Labs, at present levels, I expect the counter already have seen a decisive correction. It has plunged below the 200-day simple moving average and currently hovering around the support levels. But looking at the recent correction zone, one should wait for a decisive stability in the counter. If it happens, and once it sees some kind of positive traction and move towards the zone of 485 on the higher end, then only it will be better or advisable to accumulate the counter, because currently it just has given a very strong breakdown and it is on a verge of gaining some kind of stability. So avoid for the time being. If there will be any kind of gain above 485, then try to accumulate the counter.
Avdesh wants to know about IRB infrastructure. Is a fresh entry warranted from for a medium term target?
For IRB, I expect from a medium-term perspective, one can look for accumulation purpose, although the counter is still struggling below the 200-day simple moving average, but there has been some kind of a strong traction from the support zone of 38 to 40 odd level. So I'm expecting that in the coming period, there is possibility of the counter to regain some strength. 47 or 46 odd levels is a very strong hurdle. Once it breaches the zone of 46, then from there onwards, we can see some kind of a strong traction from short to medium term perspective.
Okay, Naidu says, I have 3 lakh rupees and I want to invest in the market right now. Can you suggest any stocks for the next 2 to 3 years?
There will be several counters which are looking very positive from long term perspective. First one should obviously try to diversify their portfolio, even if the fund is 3 lakhs or 5 odd lakhs. But I expect that in current period, I am expecting that there can be strong momentum in the private sector banks and NBFCs. So one can look for Bajaj Twins, and from private banking, ICICI Bank and Axis Bank has given a very strong momentum. They are into a very strong momentum. So these counters can be seen for accumulation purpose, and other counters such as from PSC space like ONGC has given a very strong breakthrough on the weekly time frame chart. So one can look for ONGC. Graphite India is also looking positive from a medium to long term perspective. So one can look for Graphite Limited also. And some of the counter from FMCG space like HUL have seen a decent correction. So at these levels, it is looking lucrative. One can even look for accumulation in HUL also.
Okay, fair point. I hope this has also answered your question. A lot of our viewers also want to know from you, from the export-oriented space only, how would you really advise what to buy? Like Manoj is asking, इनके पास अवंती फीड्स है, 100 शेयर हैं 997 का, इनको क्या करना चाहिए, क्या प्रॉफिट बुक कर लें या फिर रुके रहें? ऐसे बहुत सारे और भी सवाल आ रहे हैं जो एक्सपोर्ट ओरिएंटेड टेक्सटाइल जैसे स्टॉक्स में हैं, और अब उनको क्या करना चाहिए आफ्टर द US-India ट्रेड डील अनाउंसमेंट?
See, overall, I expect that there is some kind of a strong traction that can be seen in the recent period. Majority of the counters like food export or textile export, those are looking very positive, and those are into a strong momentum as well. So Avanti Feeds has given a very strong breakthrough from the zone of nearly 970, 980 odd levels, and still is looking very positive. So one should stay invested, try to trail profits and ride the momentum, because at present the counter has seen a very strong momentum and it is still into a very strong momentum as of now. So try to ride the momentum, trail your stop losses towards the zone of 1020 in Avanti feeds. Now then, Gokul Das Exports is also looking positive. It has seen a very strong momentum in the last 1 or 2 weeks, and there has been huge gap up. So I'm expecting some of the counters can look for even accumulating purpose, but in a staggered manner. If already holding a position, then better to ride momentum and trail profits on the higher.
Okay, fair point. I also wanted to ask you another question that's coming in. This one is from Gautam. He's actually from US and he says that I like your show and I want to know about Eternal. Is it a good time to buy Eternal for the next 12 to 18 months at the current levels? Good to have you on board, Gautam from US. Appreciate that you're watching our show from there and you appreciate the show as well. Hope you really find to the guidance that you're looking at from Osho here. Osho Zomato is currently trading at around 286, 287 odd levels, and he wants to know from you, he has about a 1 year, 1.5 years time frame. Would you still advise this one?
See, overall, there has been very positive reports for Eternal, and I'm expecting that even on the technical fronts, the counter have seen a decent correction from the higher zone of 350, 360 odd levels, and on technical front, it is at 200 days simple moving average. So at present levels, one should definitely start accumulating the counter. I'm expecting that from a longer term perspective, the counter has potential to even retest and even further move in the uncharted terrain. So 340 to 50 will be the first target from medium to long term perspective, and even if it breaches the zone of 350, then from there onwards one can even look for higher targets of nearly 380 to 400 from a longer term duration. And at present levels, one should definitely start accumulating, but in a staggered manner. 280 to 250 is a zone where one should try to accumulate the counter from a short to medium term perspective for accumulation zone, but from medium to long term perspective the target should be 350 followed by 380.
Okay, got that. Let's take another question. This one is from Babu Rao, who wants to know about IEX. He has 1,000 shares at an average price of 153 since last 5 years, and he wants to know what can he do over the next 1 year here.
See, overall, this counter has not performed really well in the last 3 to 4 years. The counter has already seen or at the same levels, 120 odd levels. So at present levels, it is at a historical support zone. So it won't be advisable to exit at current levels. But in future, if there will be any kind of bounce towards the zone of 155 to 160, better to start lightening positions around the zone of 160. And even if it surpasses the same zone, so better to even exit or review the counter at those levels. But at present, better to stay invested. A strict stop loss should be kept at around the zone of 110, and 150, 160 will be the zone where one should look for exiting the counter.
Okay, fair point. Next we have Srikanth from Bangalore and he wants to know about BEML. He has been holding about 930 shares here at a price of 900 and wants to know, should I exit or can I wait until it actually triples my profit as well? What would you advise here?
See, overall, this counter is very positive, very strong, and even from technical and fundamental perspective, both are looking very positive from a longer term duration. So if not required, it won't be advisable to exit the counter at current levels, although it might take some time to regain strength from these levels towards the recent highs of 21 to 2200 odd levels. But I'm expecting, but from a longer term duration, the counter has potential and it has even retested a very strong support level. So from the zone of 1600 or 1580 odd levels, the counter is expected to see some kind of a strong momentum in the coming period. The first short-term target comes around the zone of 1950 to 2000, and once it surpasses the zone of 2000, then again we can see a strong momentum towards 2300 in the medium-term perspective. So one should stay invested from medium to long-term point of view.
Okay, fair point. Let's take another question then. We have this question from Chaitanya who says, can you please suggest buying levels for ITC right now? What would you advise here?
After the recent correction or a very strong plunge in the counter is at a very strong oversold parameter. So I expect that there might be some kind of breather or stabilization in the counter that can be seen around the zone of 300, 310 odd levels. So one can try to accumulate the counter at current levels, but in a staggered manner, because this is the second week when the counter is gaining some kind of traction from the lower end. So one should wait for either 1 or 2 months, that means 4 or 8 weeks. If it sustains above the zone of 300, then we can see a strong base setup for the counter, and then in the coming period we can see gradual up movement. So one should start accumulating, but in a staggered manner for next 1 to 2 months, and in the coming period, if there will be any kind of revival, then strong momentum can be seen afterwards towards the zone of 380 to 400 kind of a zone.
Okay. Next we have this question from Mirza Yamin. Says, Osho sir, can you explain why Eicher and Siemens shares are going down? I've been holding 50 shares of both and in profit, but I want to know what exactly is happening.
Firstly, for Eicher, the technical outlook remains positive. Even the fundamental outlook is positive for the counter. Although with the kind of strong vertical rally the counter have seen in the last year from the month of August, there has been very strong vertical rally. The counter have now entered into a time-wise corrective phase, which might cool down the technical overbought parameters. So technically, it is looking very positive. It is just into a strong consolidation zone. So one should stay invested from medium-term perspective on the support levels. Again, 6800, 6900 is a very strong support levels. So that should be kept as stop loss. 6800 should be kept as a stop loss. And on the higher end, the zone of 7350 is the resistance. Once it breaches the zone of 7350, then again we can see some kind of a strong traction coming back in Eicher.
Okay. We have a caller with us. This is Raghunath from Chennai. Hi Raghunath ji, good afternoon. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon, Sakshi. I'm fine.
Hi. How can we help you today? Any key stock query?
Yes, ma'am. I have fresh buying for ISGEC for long term.
Long term. ISGEC, this is the heavy engineering stock you want to enter afresh today. It's up by nearly 3% at 790 odd levels. Osho, have you been tracking this one? Do you think it's advisable for long term?
At present levels, I expect the counter is still into kind of a corrective phase. The counter has been into a lower lows, lower highs formation, but looking at the correction and looking at the historical support levels, now it is somewhere around the stabilization zone. So one should wait, not to be in a hurry in accumulating this counter. I expect that in the coming period, if there will be any sustained move beyond the zone of 850 or 880 odd levels, then one may look for buying opportunity in this counter, which may give a positive trigger from short to medium term perspective. So 850 to 860 will be the accumulation zone for the counter. Any breakout above these levels can be seen as buying opportunities.
Okay. We have also a question coming in from Vivek from Kerala. He says, good afternoon to both of you. Hope you both are doing well. Thank you so much, Vivek, for writing in. Yes, we are well and hope the same for you. He wants to know about Axis Cades Engineering. At 1400, he bought this stock. What would you advise?
For Axis Cades, I expect that this counter has seen a kind of a decent traction, but in the recent period or in the last 3 to 4 months, the counter has given a kind of a breakdown after the vertical and positive rally that this counter was into. So now 1300 is a very critical hurdle for this stock. If there will be any kind of breakout above the zone of 1300, that can only provide some kind of a strong bullish traction in the counter. Else, looking at the momentum and the kind of a correction the counter has entered, there might be some possibility of further correction in the coming period. So 1000 to 1060 odd levels is a support zone for the counter. In the short term perspective, there might be some kind of correction in the near period, but overall I expect that from a longer term duration, one should stay invested and even can look for adding opportunities at lower levels from medium to long term point of view.
Taking the next one, this one is from Aliza, who wants to know about Swiggy. She's bought at 435. An outlook on this, please.
Swiggy has already seen a decent correction from the zone of nearly 420. The counter has seen a steep correction and is now trying to have some kind of stability from the lower end. Technically, the counter have entered the oversold terrain, so one should wait for some kind of revival in this counter in the coming period. If it happens, then one may look for even adding more positions if it breaches the zone of 340 on the higher end, although I'm not having a very strong target on the short-term perspective, but 390 to 400 is the first target for short-term perspective. So one can look to lighten up positions if they will be adding around the zone of 340. Else, one should even review the counter once it tests the zone of 400, that whether there will be any kind of breakthrough or not, or one should exit at those levels. But at present level, I am expecting a bounce towards the zone of 340 followed by 400.
Okay, got that. All right, Osho. Time's up for all the questions, but any key other stock that you'd like to highlight for our viewers now?
I'm expecting a decent traction in MFSL. So MFSL will be one of the counter where one can look for buying opportunity. Currently, it is hovering around the zone of 1720, 1721 odd levels, and it is looking very positive. Even on the technical charts, it has formed a flat pattern breakout, and even there has been positive crossover between 20 and 50-day exponential moving average. So all the technical parameters are very much in line with the bullish breakout in the counter. One can look for buying opportunity in MFSL. 1760, 1780 will be the target from positional point of view, while on the lower end 1680 will be advisable stop loss that one should keep in this time.
All right. Okay, Osho. Thank you so much then for being with us, Osho, and helping us with all the queries answered there for all our viewers. Always a pleasure to host you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, it's 25,827 on the Nifty, about 133 points higher. We've come off a tad bit from the day's high, but still holding up 0.5% higher in trade. So let's see how things pan out in the last 2.5 hours of trade. But definitely the enthusiasm can be seen in broad-based buying that we are seeing across the markets today. Stay tuned, much more coming up. And of course, I'll be joining you for the closing edition at 3 p.m. Hi, you're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra coming to you live from BT Golf here in Cochin and with a set of golfers. Let's ask what their names are, what do they do,